It's the 6th of March 2022. Let's see if I can look at the lens while making a video on my laptop, because as we're aware, I look at myself and it doesn't look right when you're actually watching the video back. So far today, I've had a really good day. I have to tell myself, these are for me, as I say, and everyone could watch them, learn what they want. Yesterday, I was reading the articles, right? Because Rachel was like, you need to read everything first, all the way from the beginning to the end. Then you go back and highlight, and then you go back and do notes. I've never done it like that, which is probably why I have to work so hard to get the grades I need for my remaining 4 units. Usually what I do, and again, this is what I did on Friday, I start reading and highlighting and making notes as I work my way through, which doesn't work because most of the time I miss the main parts. Like, it's at the point where I've even written on my wall in my kitchen, read until the end, right? And then yesterday, like, obviously I'd overdone it on Friday. Yesterday I slept until like 11:30 and I was just like exhausted, and I took the 1 dexamphetamine when I woke up but didn't have any more because I figured it was pointless. So anyway, I was reading my article and I had told myself, and I even think I said it in the video, that I would finish the articles by the end of the day. That didn't happen. I didn't even finish one of the articles because I was so tired. I was lying on my bed with my laptop and I was like, eyes dropping, couldn't get my eyes open while trying to read. And another one of the reasons I've gotten rid of the TVs is so that I listen to my body, so that when I need to sleep, I sleep instead of forcing myself to stay awake and watch movies on TV. Unfortunately, that is exactly what I did last night. I didn't feel like I was awake enough to be taking in the information I was reading, so I stopped. But instead of sleeping, I went to Stan because it's still available before it shuts down. Like, I've cancelled it, but I've still got a week or so left, right? Anyway, then I was looking at, because I watched the Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It on Netflix, I think it was before my Netflix shut down. I was on Stan and then I saw like The Conjuring, the Annabelle, and the Annabelle Creation. So I ended up watching the Annabelle Creation movie and then watching Annabelle straight afterwards. So I was still awake. And again, I have to say it, definitely woke up in the evening. Absolutely was so aware while watching the movies that I could have been reading my articles. It's not funny. Like, I knew what I was doing and I knew that I was not doing what I said that I would for myself. And then I ended up doing online grocery shopping afterwards at like 10:30 at night. I always manage to forget stuff that I've bought. So when I went and picked it up before and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. For example, this is the sugar-free mother, because I don't know what was happening online, but everything just seemed to be like triple the price. And I was like, okay. I ordered besides that, because my V was too expensive, well, not too expensive. I just like buying stuff when they're on sale. But basically, I'm really trying to cut down on my sugar, like on my soft drink intake. And I only ordered 1 box of soft drink, and it wasn't available. And I didn't have the energy, the motivation, or the desire to go into the store. So I really feel like the soft drink wasn't available because the universe is really making me aware of how much I need to drink more water. If I drank the right amount of water a day, I probably wouldn't be suffering quite as much as I am. But I managed to finish my first article this morning before I went to pick up my groceries. I am now working my way through the second one. I am taking Rachel's advice and I'm just reading it through, and I am taking in more information, so I'm very happy about that. I ran outside just before I made this video because I could hear Boss crying and the neighbour's dog crying, and I was like, what is going on? He wouldn't come. Anyway, I looked out the kitchen window and I could see the dog's head through the fence, and the fence is high and the dog is little, and I was like, oh my God, it's gotten stuck. So I threw my gumboots on, ran outside. The neighbour's outside working on his woodwork stuff, and I was like, hey, like the dog's stuck. And thankfully the dog came down. Everything's all good. The neighbour's going to fix up the hole. But he told me the last time I seen him that his son, who passed away from cancer, had been using really strong like CBD oil or THC oil. I'm not entirely sure. But he said like 1 or 2 drops of it would make your pain leave. And that's what his son had been using. And he said he tried to get me some. So obviously I just spoke to him across the fence, and he's like, I've got you the oil that I've told you about. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, I'll come over later. And I said to him, yeah, I'm doing schoolwork today, but I mean, that's fine if he pops over today or if it's tomorrow or whatever. Obviously, I'm curious. Hopefully when I see him, he won't mention ice again, but if he does, I'm just going to say to him, you have to stop. I won't listen to this any longer. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video now because I've been distracting myself by looking out the window. Like, it's so ridiculous. I'm on my bed, and this table I've got for my laptop is awesome now that I know how to use it. But I constantly find myself just looking out the window, and it's raining, and the rain is my favourite weather. So, yeah, I thought instead of constantly looking out the window and then pulling myself back, I'd make this video and upload it while I'm not using the internet for anything. And the only other thing that I have to say is I have decided that I'm not, wait, how do I put this? I have decided I am going to continue watching the Married at First Sight this season on my computer. Once Stan shuts down, that'll be good. Netflix has already shut down. Like I said last night, I was so aware of the fact that I was going against why I'd gotten rid of the TVs anyway. But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch at least tonight's, and then I'll take it by ear, Monday through Wednesday following on. I will never watch it again. But yeah, I'm definitely going to watch it tonight. So it's 12:30 and it starts at 7. That gives me 6.5 hours to get this done. And I really feel like that's a long time. Or maybe I should say 5.5 hours, because then it gives me an hour for dinner. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I just feel so aligned. Everything's so wonderful. I'm so happy. Like I've got this smile on my face all the time. I fall asleep happy, Yeah, what can I say? It's just a lovely day, week. Everything's good, and I'm going to stop talking.